Okay, for my first review of an animated virtual lab, we're looking at this peppered moth lab on Weebly. I love this lab. I think it's great. It has some really good descriptions of the life cycle of moths, as well as how the pollution affected the landscape in England. Obviously, this is a classic situation in natural selection. Talks about some experiments, but definitely the highlight of this is the bird's eye view where you actually get to run the simulation. And so go ahead and do this in just a second. Click through some of this stuff. And we can choose a light forest or a dark forest. And we'll go ahead and do both. We'll start with a light forest, and you'll see right away we're the bird, and our job here is to eat as many moths as we can. So we'll go ahead and do that. They're both dark and light moths present. There's a light moth. We can see them. But the dark moths are a lot easier to see, so it makes sense to develop a search image and kind of go after those guys. All right, so it looks like in our simulation here, we started with a 50-50, and now it's a 71 to 29%. So we've seen that change in the population. And we can do the same thing in a dark moth forest. Again, just a little bit of a challenge with some of the navigation here, but other than that, I think this is good. It's a little unclear where the simulation is and how you get back to it. But other than that, I think this is good. The simulation is something I've used with my students and I do like. So here's a similar situation, but now the environment changed. And so now it's a little bit easier to see the light moths. And so, of course, this is, again, mimicking natural selection and a changing environment. Pretty hard to see the dark moths once the soot's all over the trees. Moth, we'll get those for sure. All right, looks like it didn't give us quite the setup that we were looking for, but again, we're still seeing that shift towards the darker moths. So again, really good situation where we describe adaptations and change over time. I feel really good about this animation and I like it, and it's something I would certainly use in class, despite some of the challenges with navigation and the more modern challenges of enabling Flash. All right.